Future, we focus on the following things. One is grow the customer base and the level of consumer engagement around e-commerce on the platform.
Well, I did find many complaints across the internet from people who say their credit card was charged for things when they didn't order anything.
Wish.com is selling Chinese knockoffs of patented and copyrighted products in the U.S.
In December 2020, Wish.com went public with a valuation of around $14 billion. By early 2024, the company was sold for just $173 million. That's a 99% loss in value in just over 3 years. This wasn't some obscure startup that quietly faded away. This was one of the most downloaded shopping apps in America, pulling in 107 million active users at its peak. So how does a company go from being the most downloaded shopping app in the United States to becoming a cautionary tale about everything that can go wrong in e-commerce?
Shelley went straight to the police to file a report about the fraudulent charges, then came home to find another problem.
Discovered there's an email now attached to my account that's not my email.
The story of Wish starts with a clever idea. In 2010, Peter Szulczewski and Danny Zhang, both former Google engineers, founded Context Logic with a mission to make online shopping more personalized. They noticed something important. While Amazon was building a store where you searched for what you needed, there was space for an app that showed you things you didn't even know you wanted. By 2011, when Danny Zhang joined as co-founder, they relaunched the company as Wish, and the concept was simple. Ultra-cheap products shipped directly from Chinese manufacturers to American consumers, no middleman. The platform fully transitioned into an e-commerce marketplace by 2013. The business model was brilliant in its simplicity. Wish connected Chinese factories directly with Western buyers, cutting out traditional retail markups entirely. A phone case that cost $15 on Amazon, $2 on Wish, Bluetooth headphones for $50 elsewhere, $8 on Wish. The prices were so low they seemed impossible, and that was exactly the point. Szulczewski understood something about human psychology. People love the thrill of finding a deal, even if the product takes 6 weeks to arrive, and it worked. Between 2013 and 2017, Wish grew at a rate that made Silicon Valley investors dizzy. The company raised hundreds of millions in funding, reaching a valuation of $8.7 billion by 2017. By 2018, Wish was generating $1.9 billion in revenue and was the most downloaded shopping app worldwide. The app was everywhere, promoted through aggressive Facebook and Instagram advertising that targeted budget-conscious shoppers with impossibly cheap offers. At one point, Wish was spending over $1 billion annually on digital advertising. In 2019, a Series H funding round led by General Atlantic pushed the company's valuation to $11.2 billion. But the cracks started showing early, even if investors chose to ignore them. Customer reviews painted a troubling picture. Products that looked like high-end electronics in the photos arrived as cheap knockoffs.
Saw where they were from, opened up the app to Wish to see what the heck was going on.
The genuine leather jacket that cost $12 turned out to be thin plastic. Delivery times stretched from weeks to months. Returns were nearly impossible, with customers required to pay international shipping costs that often exceeded the original purchase price. Then came the counterfeit problem. Reports emerged that Wish was selling thousands of counterfeit products, from fake Nike shoes to knockoff Apple AirPods. The company's response was to claim they couldn't police every seller on their platform, but that defense rang hollow when investigators found obvious fakes flooding the marketplace. The U.S. government took notice. Between 2018 and 2020, U.S. Customs seized tens of thousands of packages from Wish containing counterfeit or unsafe products. Some items were worse than just fake, they were dangerous. The Consumer Product Safety Commission found toys with lead paint, electronics with faulty batteries that could catch fire, and children's jewelry containing toxic materials. The reputation damage was mounting, but Wish pushed forward anyway. In December 2020, the company went public. The IPO priced at $24 per share, giving the company a valuation of approximately $14 billion on a fully diluted basis. Initial excitement drove the stock price up, and by February 2021, Wish stock hit an all-time high of around $32 per share. Szulczewski became a paper billionaire. Everything looked like a success story, but the IPO documents told a different story for anyone paying close attention. Customer acquisition costs were rising dramatically. The company was spending over $100 to acquire each new customer, while average order values were dropping. Users were trying Wish once, having a bad experience, and never coming back. The pandemic accelerated everything, both good and bad. In 2020, with physical stores closed, e-commerce exploded, and Wish initially benefited, reaching 107 million monthly active users. Revenue hit $2.54 billion that year. But the global supply chain chaos that followed exposed how fragile Wish's model really was. Shipping times that were already long became unbearable. Products ordered in April arrived in September, if they arrived at all. Customer complaints flooded in, and the company's App Store ratings plummeted. By mid-2021, Wish had a 2.2-star rating on the Apple App Store. Here's where you might want to hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying this deep dive into corporate failures. The company tried to fix the problems, but every solution seemed to make things worse. In 2021, Wish announced a program to improve product quality and reduce shipping times. They promised to verify sellers more carefully and remove low-quality products, but the changes drove away the Chinese manufacturers who made Wish possible in the first place. These factories relied on Wish's hands-off approach and rock-bottom prices. When Wish tried to impose quality standards, sellers simply moved to other platforms like AliExpress and Shine. Active sellers on Wish dropped significantly between 2021 and 2022. Without the ultra-cheap products that defined the platform, Wish lost its only competitive advantage. Why wait 6 weeks for a questionable product from Wish when Amazon could deliver something similar in 2 days? The answer was obvious, and users left in droves. Monthly active users fell from 107 million in 2020 to around 90 million in 2021, then plummeted to 27 million by early 2022, and eventually reached just 12 million by late 2023. Revenue collapsed even faster, dropping from $2.54 billion in 2020 to about $2 billion in 2021, then to 570 million in 2022, and finally to just 278 million in 2023. The executive departures started in November 2021. Szulczewski, the founder and CEO who had built Wish from nothing, announced he would resign. He remained in his role until a successor was found, or by February 1st, 2022, whichever came first. His departure was officially announced alongside disappointing third-quarter results, showing revenue down 40% year over year. The stock price had already fallen more than 75% from its peak. In January 2022, Vijay Talwar was named the new CEO, effective February 1st, 2022. In his announcement, Szulczewski wrote about wanting to support the company's next phase of growth from the board. But industry insiders saw it as an admission that the company was beyond saving. New management tried to turn things around. They cut costs aggressively, laying off nearly half the workforce. They attempted to rebrand Wish as a deals platform rather than a cheap goods marketplace. They even tried to attract Western brands to sell on the platform. Nothing worked. The brand was too damaged, the trust too broken. Surveys found that a large percentage of Americans who had heard of Wish associated the brand with scams or low quality. The financial death spiral was swift. In 2023, Wish burned through hundreds of millions in cash trying to stay afloat. The company's market value, which had reached approximately $14 billion at its IPO, fell below $200 million by 2024. The company that had once been valued at $11.2 billion before going public was now worth less than a single successful shopping mall. In February 2024, Wish announced it would be acquired by Qoo10, a Singaporean e-commerce company, for approximately $173 million in cash. The acquisition closed in April 2024 after shareholder approval. The deal valued Wish at just $6.50 per share, though this represented a 44% premium over the stock price before the announcement. For context, Wish had raised over $1.7 billion in funding over its lifetime. Investors lost billions. Employees who had joined expecting stock options to make them wealthy saw those options become worthless. The lessons from Wish's collapse are clear and brutal. You can't build a sustainable business on deliberately misleading customers. The ultra-low prices that attracted users were only possible because of counterfeit goods, misleading photos, and a complete disregard for quality control. When regulators and consumer advocates finally caught up, the business model fell apart. You also can't acquire customers at a loss forever. Wish has spent over $1 billion a year on advertising to attract users who ordered once, had a terrible experience, and never returned. That's not growth, that's just burning money. Trust once lost is almost impossible to regain. By the time Wish tried to improve quality and reliability, it was too late. The brand had become synonymous with disappointment and low quality. No amount of rebranding could fix that. From $14 billion to $173 million in just over 3 years. Wish isn't just a business failure. It's a reminder that in the age of social media and instant reviews, you can't hide from a bad product forever. The company bet that low prices would make customers overlook everything else, and they were wrong. In the end, Wish learned what every successful business knows. Reputation matters more than revenue. And once yours is gone, so is everything else. If you enjoyed this breakdown of how one of America's biggest shopping apps collapsed, make sure to subscribe to the Brand Backstories for more deep dives into the rise and fall of major companies.